play. Custom search, select, start, matchmaking.
One of the many Arab nations in the region, you are a legitimate target. But it's more than just the government's allowing America to base them. Politically speaking, Iran did extensive diplomacy, traveling to all of these countries in an effort to prevent exactly this from happening. And yet, what the Iranians have found is, behind their backs, every single one of these Gulf Arab nations, with the possible exception of Oman, has articulated to the United States, if you're going to attack Iran, finish the job, get rid of the regime. We will support a regime change operation. And that's what we got. So if you're an Arab state that's saying we will support a regime change operation, don't be surprised when the regime that you didn't change holds you to account.
Scott, for the second time in 8 months, the President of the United States has personally lulled Iranian negotiators into a false sense of security and literally, in the midst of negotiations, commenced an attack. What message does this send to the rest of the world, particularly the Kremlin, about the United States?
Well, let's parse it out. We know that the Omani ambassadors and representatives of the foreign ministry were on the news talks in the United States, playing up the fact that the Iranians were making all the compromises necessary, that there was a real deal on the table. That Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, announces that he's going to be traveling to Israel on Monday, implying that, we're going to give diplomacy a chance. And yet,
we've lost control of objective Echo.
There can be no doubt that we've never had any intention whatsoever of seeking a diplomatic solution. That the military option was always the only option. Everything else was a setup. There might be some people out there that prior to this were saying, well, that's a little harsh. You can't condemn them for a one-time bad deed back in June. Past patterns of behavior repeat themselves, and now have a repeated behavioral pattern. And the other thing is that the people involved, Koff and Jared Kushner, they're also involved in negotiating the elections. These are not legitimate negotiators. They are actors there to play a part, to lead people down a false path while the United States does other things. And it's time for Russia to wake up and realize that this administration is setting you up for failure. No intention whatsoever of seeking a diplomatic resolution of the Ukrainian conflict. The United States is simply using Ukraine as a means of setting Russia up for failure, because ultimately our policy goal with Russia is the same as our policy goal with Iran: regime change. We want Vladimir out. The Trump administration wants Vladimir out. And if this doesn't prove that, then shame on Russia for not engaging here. Bringing housing conflicts.
Here's the Iranian foreign minister this morning. This is very candid, very telling, Chris.
I don't know why the U.S. administration insists to start negotiation, and then in the middle of negotiation, attack the other party. Today, happened exactly what last June happened. We were in the middle of negotiations, and and it was interesting that this time we made big progress. Last 2 days ago, on Thursday, we had a very good meeting in Geneva, together with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. And we were able to address serious questions related to Iran's program. We
Be advised, we need defensive support on the marked objective. Light armored vehicles prepped and ready to go.
That is coming, and there's no stopping that. So, Israel told the United States that they can absorb about 700 ballistic missile impacts, and today got about 5% this is just continue, and Israel will be destroyed. And there's nothing anybody can do.
Objective Foxtrot is no longer active.
You used that word earlier in the program, Scott. How sustained is the U.S. attack? In other words, is it wave after wave, or are there periods of pause?
We need to defend and hold that position.
My understanding is that this current attack is going to be 4 days of 24/7 attack. We've already started the re-attack. So basically, we're going to launch, recover, rearm, refit, launch, recover, rearm, refit. Just keep launching and recovering for 4 days while we hit targets. We have a finite number of resources that have to hit a certain target set. You've seen some good things. Go after yourself, Scotty. Go ahead. We'll go after certain targets with assets. For instance, in the Gulf War, we started the attack against Iraq's ballistic missile infrastructure out west.
We now hold 4 objectives.
Two
Keep pushing.
Strike Eagle squadrons. These are very precious resources that we needed. But they're we needed to launch the first night's attack and potential follow-up kills. They were plugged into these targets, but they didn't destroy the targets. So what that meant is they had to check on that target. They had to convert resources that were supposed to be striking other targets to assist them so we could solve that target because we couldn't move on until this target had been solved. So we fell behind the power curve. Now, with Desert Storm, we had sufficient resources and sufficient ammunition where we could drag this thing out. We know now, because of the revolt of the Joint Chiefs, that we don't have enough ammunition. We don't have enough ammunition. We're going to run out of ammunition, which means that they retailored the strike plan to use to accomplish the same thing with less ammunition, which means they're making assumptions that we're going to meet our target elimination schedule on target without deviation. A major aspect of this campaign was decapitation. and we were just told by Iraq chief that that didn't work. So not only did we expend this amount of resources trying to decapitate, it didn't work. In order for all the rest of the campaign objectives to fall in place, we have to finish the decapitation job, which means now we have to expend more resources, divert resources away from other target decks, which means we're falling behind on the rest of the air campaign, which means we'll never catch up, which means we'll run out of ammunition long before we achieve anything worthwhile. So, the president said, "What? We want this war all back."
Started here, according to the close numbers, or it stopped right there. But they probably reported that Iran has hit a U.S. naval base in Bahrain. Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you? They would attack a U.S. naval base in Bahrain?
Yes, of course it should. We have been there many times visiting that building. It's about to get hit. You know, of course they're going to hit it. It's the headquarters of the the 5th Fleet's there, other military resources are there, and it makes perfect sense for them to hit it.
Here is the President of the United States in the middle of the night. I think when he says imminent means imminent, but I'll let you dissect what he says. Chris, the third one, the longer one that we just viewed of President Trump.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious, very hard, terrible people. They rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message.
Let's hold it.
For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive
objective under threat. Let's defend the position.
Imminent threat to the United States of America posed by the Iranians. What are the propaganda?
What the propaganda was posturing that Iran was seeking to build nuclear weapons. They were reconstituting capabilities, but it's strict marketers. As the modern foreign minister pointed out, the Iranians are actually doing the exact opposite. And they go backwards. Not only were they making major concessions to the American negotiating team, they were meeting with the International Atomic Energy Agency to get international perspective back into Iran to verify their compliance with every aspect. So really, this is straight up a lie. I'm sorry to say that, but the other thing is by others. More important to me than the words that he was speaking was his tone and his posture. This is the comment in his lost his war. He knows that his presidency is over. He knows that when he reaches midterms that his gamble failed. And that's what I didn't hear speaking, in a way that would motivate the nation. I saw a whole entire reading the script. His notion that one senator was alive.
Election day, addressing the concept of war. And lastly, the snippet from which we already showed you, well, together, that could be a little selfish for the audience, but there is an enormous number of you watching this video. If you press like and subscribe, it will help boost this show in the YouTube algorithm. More and more colleagues will more easily find this like and subscribe. Okay. Now back to the rest of the election night and last night comparisons of
Wars. They said if you want to start a war, they're going to start one with stop wars. A short time ago,
Outside the combat area.
the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats to the Canadian regime.
I think you're right, Scott. The man has aged tremendously in 15, 16, 17 months.
He has been fooled by people rams of the world, pitching encounters of the world, all of the zombies he surrounds himself with. And he stops listening to people that matter, Tulsa Gabbards, J.D. Ganses, from Jesus' death. They start to right now, he wanted to stop the war. He couldn't. That speech we heard was a speech given by a man who was powerless. That's 22. We have to put so much military force forward that we have no choice. We have to use it or lose it. Either use it, get a window, or it has to start going back home. Once it starts going back home, bring it back. So we're getting back to the summer. It's right before the midterm elections. The needs of the can't go to war, even with pressure. In the summer, even if you win, all of you. Military victory by the end of March that he could then package to the American people as, I am the man, peace through strength. I am the peacemaker because I destroyed that which could not be destroyed for 47 years. And he can carry that through the summer and hope that that helps push come over the line in November. What he realizes now is that literally is all over. He is going to lose the midterm. He's going to be stopped in the midterm. And it's finished. Judge, if I could just for a second, this man is not striking targets to defend Americans and all that. I've been to war. In Gulf War, I was involved in the target. And one of the things that we targeted a place called the launch shelter, but we have good intelligence that said to use as a national control example, just so people understand what we're talking about. We were hunting Scud missiles unsuccessfully. Israel was ready to get involved in this war, and we had to prevent Israel from doing that. In order to do that, we had to show that we were serious hunting down Scud missiles. We believed that the control for the Scud missiles would be carried out by Saddam Hussein. And Saddam Hussein used a system called the Mark 14 radio telephone. It was made by Siemens. It was an encrypted radio telephone system with a unique signature, unique frequency ranges, etc. And we had detected the Mark 14 signal coming from antennas associated with this bomb shelter. And we had reason to believe that the Iraqis had located senior command and control in this place. And so, we reviewed it. There was no indication that it was being used as a bomb shelter. I helped pick the impact points, and my job was, when the mission strike came back, to look at the photographs to determine whether or not we did it. I know that we had to put 2 GBU-28s through the same hole to achieve the result, which we did. We destroyed it. I signed it off as destroyed. That's really good. A little while later, CNN came on. We found out that we had hit a bomb shelter and 481 of the children were dead. Killed. The most horrible kind of death. The first bomb we did, they freaking fire and trap. The neighbors could hear the women and children screaming, trying to get out. The same picket line came in, ignited, and it boiled. The firefighters were putting the water in, and all of these bodies were turned into fat. That's what happened there. And there's not a single baby. You know, that doesn't haunt you. It haunts you for the rest of your life. We have killed 2 children's schools. We bombed 2 children's schools. 63 dead children, little girls dead. Their mothers waiting for their daughters to go home. They sent their daughters to school on the belief that there wouldn't be a war because there was diplomacy going on. That there wouldn't be a war because Marco Rubio said he was traveling to the region of money. So they sent their girls to the school. The girls were in school. We bombed another. There's 100 girls buried in the rubble dug out now. The girls that will not survive. This is about 4 war. But what I'm trying to say is this. When I was involved with the Armoria shelter, we did our duty to make sure that it was a military target. We were wrong, and it haunts you forever. What God's beat us to bomb 2 girls' schools. I'm involved in this because of this program. I don't get this is obvious kind of targeting possible. This is what happens military school must sustain strength, must hit certain numbers of targets. They're artificial measures to meet, so they're desperately looking for anything, and they bomb 2 girls' schools, killing scores of young little girls. This is what we're doing, Judge. This is the war we're fighting. It's indefensible. It's not just inhuman, it's often we have waged an illegal war of aggression against a nation that did not pose a threat to us, but did go backwards to meet any demand we put on them about their nuclear program, and that we lied, and now 63 little schoolgirls are dead.
Here we go.
It's the living stuff. The next question is really more my field than yours.
Deliberately put off the vote so they wouldn't have to vote because they are the most cowardly people in the world. And now next week, they're going to try and push this through and try to retroactively stop and say, you can't do this war. But they didn't do it when it could have mattered. But Congress doesn't matter anymore. They've literally punted. There's no, separate but equal branch of government. The president's already told the Supreme Court they don't matter. And now Congress is just acting as if they don't matter. So we have a literal dictator out there sending American kids. Well, this man had the gall to stand there and say there will be American casualties. Well, you know what, Connie, baby? You got a Sunday parent. He needs to be on the front line right now. I don't care if he's not a Serbian member. Send him there. He needs to be standing next to Billy Joe Bob, the blue-collar boy, who joined because he needed a job. He joined because the economics required him. He didn't join out of patriotism. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But he joined. And he's there. He's serving. And he's dying right now. Dying. And you just glibly throw it away because those mothers are going to pick up the corpse of their son and bury it in the ground and spend the rest of their lives thinking about the hole in their heart. And your son, your 6 foot there, what is he, some elite university, the house like New York doesn't put your son on the front line. The fact that you don't want Americans to die for your fake war speaks volumes about who you are, and frankly, it speaks volumes about Melania. Melania, you dare talk about the children of Ukraine and write a letter about something you didn't know about. Look at the video of the Iranian mothers on their knees, snot coming out of their nose because their daughters aren't coming home. You need to be on your knees, Melania, snot coming out of your nose, ready to receive the torn body of your son, Barrett. If your husband was a man, he'd send his son to die instead of sending other sons to die. I'm sick of the hypocrisy that we're seeing among these politicians who talk about war, and they never
Medic!
That's why I'm so against it. And these guys just sit there and say, let's do more, let's do more. And all it does is kill innocent people. You know, if you want to kill soldiers, kill soldiers. You're killing children, little girls. They didn't do.
We've begun our assault on Echo.
They didn't do anything to anybody.
Scotty, it's a dismal, horrific state of affairs, but thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your incomparable passion, your extraordinary knowledge of these things, and your personal courage. All wound up now, but I will wish you a good weekend. We'll be back with you soon, early next week, because more will happen in the next 2 days.
This real part of the plans that's going to be worse for this. It's not going to go better.
Let me ask you this. Did the Joint Chiefs know that they can't win this? Was that kind of the reasoning earlier last week true and accurate?
We have light armored vehicles ready for combat.
They were sort of duplicitous. They have a campaign plan to leave war. And they believe that the American forces, if they implement this plan, can achieve the objectives. The problem is, they don't have the resources to make the plan. So the issue, in a plan that requires a certain sorting rate, sustainable sorting of everything is off planes. And you have to have ammunition linked to the sorting, different kinds of ammunition, missiles, bombs, etc. And when you look at what we have available, we don't have enough aircraft to sustain the sorting rate. And we don't have enough ammunition to deliver steel on target. So we're going to start a campaign, and we're going to not be able to finish the campaign because our airplanes are not going to be able to meet the sorting rate, and we're going to run out of ammunition well before we get to the end of the campaign objectives. And so the admiral that was fired is the guy that said, we're going to lose. We're going to run out of ammunition. We wait for this. Run out of ammunition.
Instead of taking seriously what he said, they fired.
Be advised, enemies are attacking objective Delta.
So, again, if Congress
We need defensive support on the marked objective.
they would, when this is over, subpoena every member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and every member of the Combatant Command, Central Command, etc.
We're attacking
Bring them
objective
in
Echo.
and ask them a series of questions. As to why did we go to war for the way? Why did we go to war if we didn't? Who was responsible for Count Bullets? Who was responsible for reporting something to change? Where did this fail? And basically fired every single one of them and deny them their pensions and make them paupers.
We now
Or
control more
because
objectives.
it's most
Secure our
dishonest.
defenses.
When you put on the uniform, your job is to make the president happy.
All squads, heavy
His
armored
wife
vehicles are ready for deployment.
Their job is to harvest the American people, which means you have to, report honestly, facts. That's how your boss would take 1 year, tell them facts on it. The president gets paid the big bucks to make decisions. It is supposed to make the decisions based upon the information provided by honest men of integrity, there's women of integrity, people who say this is the truth. Now, if the president wants to receive that and say, I hear you, I mean, this day one, the basics. Hey, boss, look at the plan. If I launch this attack on Hill 861, we're all going to die. And the boss says, yep, but we need you to hold the enemy down for a certain period of time, so launch that attack, and yeah, I'm ordering you to die. And at that point in time, you go,
Okay, our forces control more objectives than the enemy.
That's fine. If the military tells the president something, they're honest enough. The president says, I made a decision that we're going to execute anyways. You have to obey that order. But don't lie to the president and say, oh no, everything's great. It all smells like roses. We're more than enough ammunition. We have to work with the charm and all that. Because now you deceive not just the president, but you deceive the American people.
Just to make light of this for a second, if there's any humor in any of this, yes, fans show our colleagues and friends whom we both admire and revere. Ray McGovern and Larry Johnson. We're not down-dragging. Larry, of course, is on your side. Ray is on the side of the Angels because he sees only the good. Anyway, I love you both. But the both cheapskates, they had a bet whether number one would try those things. You know what they bet? $2. Not dinner at a fancy French five-star restaurant.
Neutralized objective Charlie.
Yeah, I would put a bottle of expensive bourbon
Attack
on that
helicopters are
table.
prepped and ready for combat.
Speaking with Larry later on. Scotty, thank you very much.
Loadout 1.
Be advised, we've lost objective Delta. The enemy is targeting all objectives. Our forces hold the majority of objectives. We're close to taking ground.
Taking med supplies!
We've lost control of objective Echo.
2026 to look a little different because we're using a different means to communicate with my dear
Attack support needed on the marked objective.
Combat
Mohammed Morandi, who comes to us from Tehran. Professor Morandi, welcome here. And before we start, how are you? And how is your family?
Hi, Judge. Thank you very much for inviting me. It was a pleasure. I am okay, and I am in the process of isolating myself from my family.
All right. You're in Tehran as we speak.
That's right.
Can you paint for us the picture in Tehran? What time of day is it? What's going on? What was the day like the past 12 hours?
Well, it is. And in morning, as school opened, we saw there were sounds of explosions. A family member of mine called me and said that there was a huge explosion right beside her. And I thought that there was only one or two explosions. I thought maybe it was a terror attack, although one was expecting Trump to attack because negotiating the United States under Trump was aspiring not to carry out war against Iran. So people were thinking that since the foreign minister of Oman is the United States and thinking about the process of anyone was concluding that the forces out in Washington and elsewhere will not peace prevail and that they will carry out the attack.
The foreign minister of Oman was actually in the White House speaking with Vice President Vance, who obviously was part of this deception. As deceptive was his conversation with the foreign minister as the announcement by Secretary of State Rubio that he would be flying to Israel on Monday. All of this, of course, was a subject. To a rational observer, it would be a head scratcher as to why this would happen in negotiations, where even the neutrals in the negotiations said great progress has been made. But to those familiar with the way this administration conducts so-called diplomacy, it's no surprise at all. Well, one more personal question before we go far. Is your family okay?
Yes, everyone in my family is okay with it.
Okay.
They're also Tehran, but everyone. cities, especially cities like Tehran. But if you drive around, there are still lots of people, shops are open, moving around, but lots of people are leaving the city.
One of the American websites is reporting that the Ayatollah has been killed. Can you elaborate on whether that has happened or whether it's Western propaganda?
Well, the Iranian foreign minister said that he is safe, and other than that, I'm not heard anything, except for the fact that he is going to be giving a leader, is going to be giving a statement later on. So far, I don't see any reason why the case in general, the military attack this morning was a failure. Very few people in the government, the armed forces that have leadership positions have been murdered, unlike what happened during the previous attack on Iran 8-9 months ago. So we'll have to wait and see. I think the foreign minister is overconfident. I've spoken to other people. They all say that it's safe.
How have the Iranian people reacted to President Trump's call for them to join the overthrow of the government? Or are they not even aware of the fact that the President of the United States went on national television in America, albeit in 3 in the morning, to make that proclamation?
Judge, in Iran, there are, and you can get all sorts of information from the United States. There are hundreds of television channels funded by one of the governments that even much in Persian. And there are hundreds of websites funded by large numbers of people. Again, funded by the United States Telegram channels. In Albania, there's one camp that's 3,000 to 4,000 people there working at school day and night. So the Iranians are bombarded by Western media narrative, Western propaganda day and night. And to be very blunt, they outgun the Iranians by far. The information that comes from inside Iran is have less TV channels in Persian, TV from Iran now TV in Iran. So the Iranians do know exactly what the West is saying, what the United States is saying, what Trump is saying. When the attack took place, I don't think most people knew, because people of Tehran is a very big city. I certainly didn't hear explosions when my family member called me. So a lot of people gradually figured out what was happening. But by now, everyone knows what Trump has said in the Iranian media, contrary to the image that they create in that the Iranian media here in Tehran, they publish what Trump said, what Netanyahu said, what Secretary of State says, what Rubio says, and what others say. I doubt.
What is the reaction of the Iranian people to the call from the President of the United States to participate in the overthrow? Being stated differently, isn't the vast, overwhelming majority of the Iranian people united at a moment like this behind their government?
Absolutely. There's no doubt that the Iranians are united against this war and this act of aggression by Trump and Netanyahu. And Western media narratives are basically for Western audience prepare the ground for war, whether it's the New York Times or Fox News, whether it's the Guardian or Breitbart, it really doesn't make a difference. When it comes to Iran is demonized. During the State of the Union address, the only thing united Democrats and Republicans was the demonization of Iran. And that, of course, is because, as many would put it, the FC class encompasses all major parties in the Western world. And so Iran is always going to be demonized. And ordinary people in the United States, I'm sure many, not most, believe this propaganda. But Iranians are united. And as you see from down, Iranian armed forces are fighting back, and nothing is happening. The only thing that is happening is that there are lots of spontaneous protests against the United States on the streets of different cities, including Tehran, including on the main campus of my own university. So that is where things stand. That's how things always were on February the 11th, on the anniversary of the revolution. Millions of people came to the streets of Tehran to support the Constitution, to celebrate the revolution. But of course, the West ignores this because it does not do as well.
What is your understanding of the readiness of Iran against air defense, against air
I think that Iran's military capabilities are very much misunderstood in the West. Iran's capabilities to attack the Islamic regime are sideshow. Those are long-range missiles that are used. In the case of the Persian Gulf region, Indian Ocean, and West Egypt, and the other side of the Persian Gulf, Iranians have tens of thousands of medium-range missiles, short-range missiles, hundreds of thousands of drones that they can use, and countless underground bases that they've been creating ever since the United States invaded Iraq, ever since Iraq was called an. So for many years, Iran has been preparing for a potential attack by the United States. So Iran's naval capabilities are directed at the United States. And I think that while Iran has been working on its defenses over the last 8-9 months, but the importance of the war is offensive. In other words, two sides are fighting each other, and as you see, Iran has been fighting as part of the process for itself and Israel and Israeli regime. But like as I said, this morning they also struck a gym and murdering 15 people inside, including some kids apparently.
My heart goes out to children, to any innocent person caught in something like this. But to bomb a school, girls' school, and kill 51 young girls, of course, get referenced. What do you think the Americans and the Israelis are trying to sow chaos, confusion, and hatred, or are they trying to attack military leadership targets?
Well, first of all, Judge, the number that has been killed up until now is 85. So they're most severe than some of their teachers, but so it's much larger than the previous numbers. I'm not sure if they are the final numbers, but there are different interpretations. Some believe that Trump is under pressure, that they may have something on him, and that's why he feels the need to strike. I believe is also that Netanyahu needs the war in order to continue his having to remain in power by almost 2 years and last month. In October 7th, he's been seeking crisis after fight for remain in power. Yeah, but I also think personally that it is because of Western technology. It is because in the West they believe their own propaganda, that Iran is exploding, that Iran has lost the collapse of the house of cards, that it is a communist regime that they love to call. And actually I did a program on television broadcasting yesterday, which shows how from the 1980s Iran is from time, Washington Post, another media that Iran is constantly say Iran is on the verge of Iran is falling apart. There's a second one, like the 1980s and the 1990s. So this narrative, this general narrative of imminent Iranian collapse, or the imminent collapse in Iran, has been going on before we start to see the revolution. And these people that believe in something Washington, or Even though people come to the streets, came to the streets on behalf of themselves. But that narrative is so powerful in West that it cannot be broken. But I think that they will once again in this war see that they will fail against Iran. It will end very badly for the United States. It will end badly for the world and badly for the United States. Obviously, many Iranians are going to die. I myself, many fatalities also because I may be a target. But he and others, millions of others, they're going to remain steadfast until the United States is forced to back down and accept defeat.
You're a great man, Professor Murray, indeed, not because you and I are friends and colleagues, but because you have attributes of greatness and of selflessness. How determined is the Iranian government to strike at the leadership of the Israeli government, which is the instigator of all of this?
So are you?
Well, from what I've been hearing, there have been regular strikes by Iran on targets inside Palestine, inside the realm of the Israeli regime. And what we've been told by Iranian general is that right now the Iranians are basically using old stuff, and they're not using new technology. So Iran has lots of old missiles that were produced 50 years ago, 20 years ago. So, and drones, and they're basically using those empty air defenses, and gradually, when those air defenses are completed, then newer generations are going to be used, basically, and with much greater devastation. But from what you're hearing, there are significant strikes taking place across the Persian Gulf, because U.S. bases visit all the family dictatorships in the Persian Gulf region, and those bases have to be against Iran, because Iranians are fighting at those bases, and then U.S. assets in the Persian Gulf region. But of course, Iran is also regularly striking the Israeli regime. But as I said, right now Iran is not showing, as they would call it, those gamble, yes, they're not showing their hand. They're using old technology, and I think in the days to come, there's going to be fires and stuff like that.
What do you make of the earlier I saw an interview. We in this venue we can't run these clips, but my audience has seen this clip already this morning West time. Ran a clip of the Iranian foreign minister literally scratching his head to get the intermediaries in the negotiations were saying how much progress had been made. Another session was scheduled in Vienna so that we could be near the nuclear inspection so they could participate in negotiations. The American government, the Trump administration, the senior part tells you never have the person there, but the administration seems to be in this for this time. Well, what kind of a government? You don't listen to the other government that's negotiating during this, besides the Israelis and the Americans.
No one but the United States. Good job. And judge, the fact that we have a ceasefire in Lebanon, but the Israeli regime murders Lebanese citizens every day, and Western media looks away. Western governments that are guarantor the ceasefire, they all look away. Here's just another example. For every day Gaza, they're murdering multiple Palestinians by the ceasefire. Not by the day, by the hour. But the West looks away. Western expecting this attack to take place. And I thought that the fact that there was progress was actually making it more dangerous because these people were wanted to make sure that there's no peace between Iran and the United States. The Zionist lobby or the FC class or whatever you call it, they're Israeli person, American class. If it wasn't for the Israeli regime, Iran and the United States would resolve their problems for decades. Iran has excellent relations with Russia, with South Africa, with China. Excellent relations with countries across the globe. But the United States, because of this class of people, can only show hostility and antagonism. The only country that tries to murder the leaders of the countries that they're negotiating with is the only country that starves people like in Syria. So this is how the empire works. But Western media, Western think tanks seem to think that they are exceptional, that they have exceptional rights, and that they are morally superior to the rest of us, so they can do these things. The Iraqi war, Iran is building missiles against the United States. There is no difference between the current regime and Bush regime. They're one and the same.
That's a comment, Randy. Thank you, my dear friend. Thank you for your intellectual honesty and your personal courage. Needless to say, as a friend, I wish your family, all your friends and colleagues well, and I hope that we can come back to you in the days and weeks. Godspeed. God be with you.
Happy with you too.
I need a fucking medic! one. I got you. Let's go. Give me the medic.
Our troops have secured more objectives. We're engaging objective Echo. Objective Echo. Be advised, Foxtrot has been lost. Territory has been taken by our forces. Alpha is no longer active. We are targeting objective Delta. Be advised, enemy attack is underway on Bravo. Be advised, hostile troops have secured more objectives. Our troops have lost objective Echo. support is needed on the marked objective. Hostiles engaging objective Foxtrot. We have lost objective Foxtrot. Be advised, the enemy has taken the objective. Let's fight back. Hostiles are taking ground. Objective Foxtrot is no longer a target. Be advised, hostile troops have secured more objectives. Be advised, objective Echo is under attack.
Be advised, hostile troops have secured more objectives. Attention, we're attacking objective Delta.
Play. Play.
Light armored vehicle prepped and ready to go. There's a hostile tank operating north of your current position. Objective Bravo is under attack. Objective marked for the attack. Be advised, the enemy has captured Bravo.
Play. Whip. Play. New. Custom circ. Contaminated warfare. Engage hostile forces on the contaminate. Escalation hook. Talk. Matchmaking.
objective. We need to defend and hold that position.
Echo.
Be advised, hostiles attacking objective Delta. We're attacking objective Foxtrot.
Objective Foxtrot neutralized.
Objective Foxtrot is under our control. Objective Delta has been neutralized. Be advised, the enemy now control more objectives. You're attacking objective Echo. Our attack on Echo is underway. Enemies are attacking objective Foxtrot.
Our forces control more objectives than the enemy.
Be advised, the enemy now controls more objectives. Attack helicopters confirmed. Pilots are ready to deploy. We are attacking objective Delta. Objective Mark, we need you supporting the attack. Be advised, hostiles are assaulting Echo. The battlefield is almost under enemy control. Break their hold on objectives.
Hostiles have taken all objectives. Regroup and get us back into the fight.
Delta is no longer active.
Be advised, Delta is under attack.
Marked objective under threat. Let's defend the position.
We no longer control objective Delta. Can confirm, enemy helo operating in your area.
Our forces control more objectives than the enemy.
Hostiles are attacking objective Charlie.
The enemy has secured more objectives. Let's rally and counter. All squads, heavy armored vehicles are ready for deployment.
Objective.
Objective Charlie's now under our control. Hostiles attacking objective Delta. We need to rally defense on the marked objective. Delta has been lost. Objective Delta taken by hostiles. We've begun our assault on Echo. The enemy has just taken territory. Golf is no longer a target.
Objective Echo neutralized.
All right, we now control more objectives. Secure our defenses.
objective Foxtrot.
We have heavy armor ready for combat.
Defensive support on the marked objective. Be advised, Echo has been captured by hostiles.
We've neutralized Foxtrot. Under attack. The enemy have taken more objectives. Be advised, the enemy holds a majority of objectives. They're close to taking ground. Attacking objective Delta. Be advised, we've lost objective Delta. We're attacking Charlie.
I got enemy in sight!
Objective marked. We need you supporting the attack.